As a clinical psychologist focused on schools, one of the most profound things I've heard a teenager ask me during a session is, "Miss, do you know why life is fair?" Following my visibly inquisitive silence, she replied, "Life is fair because it is unfair to everyone." Through the years, I've had the opportunity to closely interact with children from various cultural backgrounds, socioeconomic status, and I realized that these young adults truly live in a world that is quite different from their past generations. A world where the rules of social engagement have been so radically defined by technology and now the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic. The delivery of learning as we know it has witnessed a paradigm shift that academics and policymakers are now reconsidering the future of education. It is at this juncture I hope to turn your attention to a crucial aspect of a child's development, their mental health and well-being. There is an acute need to shift the way in which we deal with mental health in schools. A 2012 research by the World Health Organization stated that the following 2 decades would witness worldwide changes in the pattern of epidemiology of diseases. Today, as we stand at the halftime of this forecast, one can't help but notice the eerie accuracy of this study. So the question remains, how desperate are we to see change in the area of well-being? United Nations predicts that the post-pandemic world would see depression ranked #1 in the global burden of diseases by 2030. The mortality rate of those with mental disorders is significantly higher than the general population, with a median life expectancy loss of 10.1 years. Mental health statistics prior to the pandemic were as depicted. To shed a little light into the UAE statistics, anxiety disorders followed by substance abuse, depression, eating disorders, and schizophrenia were the top 5 mental health concerns affecting the younger population in 2019. The ominous trend is that mental disorders may replace communicable diseases as the leading factor in disability and premature death. Mental health and well-being is crucial to the sustainable development of this world. So much so that within the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the 3rd one emphasizes on ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being at all ages. It is evident that the post-pandemic world truly marks the end of an era on how we have dealt with mental health in schools. It is here that I would like to highlight my vision on the new era that is dawning on our education system. One of my most favorite quotes by Aristotle states, "Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all." So the question remains, how can schools make a difference? Learning is often embedded in emotional states. A confident, responsible, reflective, innovative, and engaged learner reasons and makes decisions based on their positive personal values and an understanding of their emotions. Schools can make a difference. And this is evident in the story of this young girl. This little girl was always running. We all know one of those kids, don't we? She was unable to sit through her lesson through kindergarten, perpetually lost through middle school, and depressed in high school. Her teachers, on the other hand, saw the real individual beyond this hyperactive and confused bubble. The bond that she shared with many of her teachers was, in fact, so strong that it allowed her to believe that she was more than what she felt, her feelings, or her ever-wandering thoughts. A timely conversation with her high school principal allowed her to decide on the right major, and she was eventually accepted into a degree in clinical psychology. During the course of her program, with the help of her professors, she was diagnosed with ADHD as a young adult. All her life experiences leading to this moment made complete sense. And this new discovery gave fresh meaning and purpose to her life. Well, it's a great story, one would think, but wouldn't it be better for you to know that this is actually my story? Today, I stand as a testimony to the things that I learned beyond my textbooks through the deep and meaningful relationships I built with my teachers and later on my professors. I believe the confidence that I got through the trust instilled in me helped me to grow into the person that I am today. My story is yet another example of how the right form of nurture and teaching delivery can truly transform a young individual. And more often than not, it is the knowledge giver rather than the knowledge, in other words, the teacher rather than the textbook, that can make all the difference and witness magic happen. One practical way to achieve this can be found in the concept of positive education that models positive purpose. Purpose in life is essential for good health. Did you know that a sense of purposelessness makes us vulnerable to depression, risk-taking behaviors, somatic complaints, and poor social relationships? Positive purpose, on the other hand, is about understanding, believing, serving something greater than yourself, and deliberately engaging in activities for the benefit of others. The intrinsic value of contributing to others and the community provides a strong rationale for a focus on purpose within schools. And this pandemic has only made it even more necessary for this to be a core aspect of our humanity. In addition to feeling worthy, serving others, and having a sense that life is purposeful and meaningful contributes to our students' psychological and physical health. As schools, we can look at small changes that can generate miracles in the long run. If we imagine a future for our children, what would be the one thing you would wish for them? I'm sure you agree with me that we would aspire for a future that is happy. A world where our children are resilient and make a positive contribution to others. If we want our children to be calm and optimistic, we need to model that through our life and our choices. Notice what's good. A lot of past and current research have stated that humans are born with pro-social behaviors. As educators, we have the opportunity to model that to our students. We also understand the power of descriptive norms. If we describe our world as being more pro-social, such as being helpful, kind, more community-focused, we inspire those behaviors. We thus need to create pro-social ripples from a young age to ensure that we are contributing to a child's social and academic success. Our body is always anchored in the present moment, which is why most mindfulness practices begin by focusing on our body or our breath. Guiding students to help them being more mindful helps them regulate the chaos in their minds and focus on what is before them. I encourage each of us to be present and lead our young people to practice being in the present moment. Feeling scared, uneasy, worried, or even anxious about the current state of the world is quite understandable. Ignoring these emotions, however, would only make us feel them more strongly. It is therefore important that we acknowledge negative emotions, curiously examine the emotion. Allowing curiosity to combat the difficult and negative impact of difficult emotions is a practical and influential way through which we can guide our young people to deal and acknowledge such negative emotions. Yet another powerful tool to emotional well-being is being physically active and being as close to nature as possible. Engage with your environment as creatively as you can. We need to champion our young people to push their creative and physical limits in our pursuit of happiness. While it would be easy to bunker down or lock ourselves away indoors, get outside and be active. It is highly successful in combating stress or burnout. Creating healthy habits through school-related activities is a powerful way through which we can contribute to our students' psychological and physical well-being. In its most basic essence, the positive education model can be thought of as a roadmap for what we want for our students. Good health, frequent positive emotions, a sense of purpose and meaning, supportive relationships, the accomplishment of worthwhile goals, and moments of complete immersion and absorption. I envision a life where our young people use their character strengths to contribute to themselves and others. Well-being is in the heart of everything we do these days, especially in schools in the UAE. Even more encouraging is the fact that as part of the National Program for Well-being and Happiness, the UAE government aims to be the best in the Human Development Index and the happiest of all nations. However, it is time we graduate from conducting surveys, hosting talks on mental health awareness, or even hiring a school counselor or a well-being advisor to embedding well-being into the curriculum, teaching our young people on what to expect in the real world. This is a journey each of us must undertake. We are educators. We are born to do this. So let's get out there and start this new era right.